0 to 60 can define a performance car, but it's the fastest 60 to 0 that's the aim of Tarok's brakes. From road cars to race cars, circuits, special stages, or the autostrada, nothing reduces speed like Tarok's brakes. Italy gave the world the art of Da Vinci and Michelangelo. Tarok's has given drivers the art of stopping. For more information and to acquire your own masterpiece, visit tarox.co.uk.
Yes, it's me, Mark Stone, and this is the Backseat Driver Podcast.
I'd like to welcome to the Backseat Driver Radio Show Mark Issac from Automotive Wall Art and Northwest Classic and Retro Cars. I discovered Mark by chance. I kept looking at some of his Facebook posts and thought, I know where that is. So I had a ride down and lo and behold, it's where I thought it was. It's about a 5-minute drive from where I live. So Mark, welcome to the Backseat Driver Radio Show.
Hello, thank you for having me.
How did you get into all this? I mean, you're on a nice little side street in Padiham. You're based in two very historic buildings. One's Padiham Building Society, if anybody can remember back that far. And your cars are stored and worked on and everything else in a Second World War Nissan hut. I mean, a Nissan hut in itself is a rarity. So how did all this come about?
Well, as we set the scene, I started off in the old building society about 5 years ago, and we started with antiques, doing car parts, doing the odd car and stuff like that, and it's just generally grown from there. About 3 years after we started in here, we looked out at window at the Nissan hut, found a gentleman coming out of it, ran over, bought it, and moved all the car business into there, really, and it's just grown and grown and grown from there.
Now, the one thing that strikes me is you've never any shortage of cars. I mean, the cars you seem to specialise in are 50s and 60s cars, maybe into the 70s. But, I mean, what is the appeal of these cars of this era?
It's the style, it's the smells, it's from a bygone era, and that's what I love. It's cars that my nan had, my dad had, cars that my dad had me working on up in Upton on the front street when I was 10 and 11 years old, stuff like that, and I've just never lost my love for them. It's a big family thing, is the love for cars in my family. My brother is still into the same sort of stuff I do. My dad still comes down, takes them out, and we've just built it from there, really.
And the one thing is, I noticed you've never any shortage of them. I was looking the other day on your Facebook site. I mean, you brought a Morris Minor in that, shall we say, possibly beyond restoration, because you didn't have to take it off the back of the truck. It collapsed and fell off in component form. But where do you find them all?
They come from all over. We have a truck running up and down the country. A lot of things now, I've built it up that much. I have people sending me images, sending me pictures, even before they're on internet. And that's a lot of cars I buy that's not been on the internet. They've not been on eBay. They've not been anywhere. They're fresh cars to the market. We're getting them in. We hunt them out. I send messages out, shouts, speak to contacts, speak to normal people, not people in the trade, not people in the game. And that's where a lot of mine generally come from, and the first time to market cars, really, as well.
And looking at a lot of them, I mean, the other week you had a lovely standard Ensign in. You have a nice Hillman, little old Hillman Minx in the garage. A lot of these cars, like the standard, it wanted a good clean, a good polish, and it drove out of the workshops quite happily, needed very little doing to it, and somebody's got an absolutely cracking classic car, not being funny, not a bad price, that they can virtually use on a daily basis.
Yeah, we're not in it to make £1 million. We don't like to, I suppose, but I'm in it for more of the passion. I like to rescue a car, something that's been sat there for 10, 15 years, and I'd ultimately like to see it done and back on the road. So we get them in, we do a few bits to them, and then we pass them on as projects, and people who's capable of doing them come and snap them up instantly, and we sell them at the right price that they can't refuse them, really. And I think that's why we're being so successful as well. We're not greedy on anything. It's just a case of do our few bits, get them running, make sure engine will run, get them moving again, and then they've got a good starting point for a for a project again, haven't they?
I mean, that's the one thing I do notice. Your cars, they aren't fully restored, ready to park on a showground. You provide what I would call as a running project. I mean, the cars as they leave you, or you could actually use them. And once again, to go back to the standard ensign, that is a car you could use. But if you want, you could set to and turn it into as it looked in a showroom. I mean, this is it's a slightly different concept that you sell classic cars that run, that people buy to then restore.
Yeah, people buy them to restore them. I sell dreams, that's what I do. I bring them in and we talk about it. You get to know the person that comes in over the 5-10 minute conversation, and basically you're selling them a dream. It's something they've wanted, they've talked about it for wife, they've got the okay with wife. As you know, everything runs through the wife, doesn't it, these days? If you want to spend more than 10p round at shop, like, on a pack of sweets, and you've got to sign 10 forms, don't you, and everything first, and get the okay and everything. So by the time the chaps have done this, they're well down that road of a dream, and they can picture themselves, and you throw in a couple if they bring the wife, I can just picture you sat in here, love, with your Jackie O's on and wind flapping in air, and bit time they've gone, if they haven't bought your car, they're that far down the dream, they will go buy one off somebody else. And I think, you're helping them steer into a passion. And I think a lot of it helps as well as the influx of these American shows that everybody watches now. They open the garage doors up and there's an old battered car there, and they'll rebuild it in a week, and people's there thinking, I could do that in maybe a year, I'll have a do. And it's keeping a lot of men out at pub and stopping them being naughty, isn't it, really? And wife loves it when I say, look, he'll be sat on driveway now, love, you'll know where he is, and they'll go, right, we'll buy it then, and they're in it first, aren't they?
I mean, that is one of the things. I mean, I've said this before, a lot of the television shows, I won't name them, but there's one by a well-known, shall we say, he deals in wheels, it's a bit of a clue. If you watch the show, it's an hour-long programme, which, with the adverts, it is actually a 45-minute long programme, and it rather infers that you can restore a car in a couple of days. And as anybody who knows classic cars, or any form of working on cars, know, some of these car restorations, they're like a year, they're 2 years. I think the shows have given people a fictitious or false impression of how quickly you can restore a car.
Yeah, that is completely true, and I like to think we sell them honestly. I mean, some of the cars that come in here, if anybody comes in to buy it, I'll tell them honestly, look, you ain't driving this down the road with it next year, buddy. Some of them you can say, if you get your good weekends in, you can have it on road in 6 weeks. She won't be looking the best, but she'll give you some joy and pleasure for summer. Take her to a few shows and then do more jobs over winter. Other ones that come in, you've just got to be seriously honest with him and say, it's a 2-year job, is this, bud? Some of them, they've gone on to be 5-year cars, but every car I've sold has gone on to be restored. The Moggy pickup that I don't think you saw last week, that's stripped down now. We got it in on a Monday. We sold it Tuesday morning. It was in Wales for 4 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. It was stripped down for Wednesday. Down to a full chassis. The lad's on Facebook now, he's got a chassis, he's got everything else. It'll be done and dusted within another, I'd say, 6-7 weeks. He'll have it rolling and running round again. So it's another Morris saved, isn't it? And another one back on numbers register.
And which would you say are the most popular cars? I mean, you don't stick to any particular make or model, but which are the ones that, shall we say, are out the workshops or out the door the fastest? Which is the car that people, of like the 60s cars, that people really want?
Morris Minors. People absolutely love a Morris Minor, and we have never had a problem selling a Morris Minor at all. Whether it be a 2-door, 4-door pickup traveller, we've had hundreds of them in. And some of the states have come snapped in half, as you'd seen that other one. I mean, that was a parts thing, but some of the pickups that are rarer have been snapped in half. They've all gone off for restoration. I think the thing is with Moggy, they've seen that many of them on films, TVs and other stuff. They're just a typical English car, aren't they? And they've got a lovely smiley face on them, and people just think, oh, my nan had one of them, or, I've seen a picture of my great-grandma in one of them, I'm going to get one, or my dad had one as a first car. And I think because there was that many of them and still that many of them, people just warm to them and love them, and they're simple to work on, easy. You can get every single part from brand new these days, so when you can add the backup that they have with them, they're just nice and easy cars to work on, and sells really. They sell themselves to Morris's.
I mean, that's the thing you just said, they're easy to work on. I mean, you open the bonnet on a modern car, and if you haven't got a laptop, you can't work on it. And basically, the modern car is designed not for its owner to work on it. It has to go into the dealers or a specialist that have all the computer equipment that they can plug in. The car will talk to the laptop, vice versa. And the car will tell the laptop what's wrong with it. I mean, these cars you sell were designed in many ways for their owners to work on them. I mean, they come from an era of simplicity, which, the way things are today, could be the era we need to go back to.
Well, if you go back to the day when you bought your Morris, you actually got a stack of manuals that showed you how to strip it and rebuild it, and they actively give you that service book when you bought the car. The last car I bought new 2 years ago for wife, I got a little booklet telling me how to do the radio and how to work the sat-nav and how to work the keyless entry and all this, and there was nothing on fixing it. And just to touch back on that, I actually changed an headlight bulb in it. I was going over Woodhead Pass just over Christmas, both headlights bulbs blew. As an old school man, I always have a little box in the back with headlight bulbs, just various bits and bats, that's all. I swapped the headlight bulbs, took it back to the dealer on Monday, and it cost me £750 because I swapped the headlight bulb, and they cancelled the warranty on the car because I touched it. And it's when you start dealing with stuff like that these days, like I said, they just don't want you to touch them. And there's that many things in place now on modern stuff that you're not allowed to touch them here. Like I found out myself, be swapping one headlight bulb and a £700 bill come after for me doing that.
I think the other thing is as well, by saying that, it's like we said with the laptops, the car mechanic is in many ways becoming a thing of the past. I mean, they plug a laptop in and that's it. They're a fitter, they're a technician. They don't do mechanicking, where your cars, shall we say, demand the skill of the mechanic.
Yes, they demand the skill of the mechanic, and they also, you don't have to be knowledgeable. I think anybody can learn on them. So even if you're a modern car frightens a lot of people these days, they open the bonnet, they see plastic and a couple of wires and loads of plugs. Whereas on an older car, you'll see a carburetor, an engine and loads of space, and you think, I can take that off, there's only 2 bolts, I can see it. And I think when you start doing stuff like that, people learn themselves, don't they? I mean, we're all self-taught down here, just by working on cars. What you call time served now, but there isn't nothing we can do on them, from welding them up to pulling engines. There isn't nothing. We've rebuilt engines up floor. We rebuilt his recovery truck in Wales last week outside when up brakes went on it. It snapped its pads coming down a Welsh mountain. So my driver phoned me up, got a problem. Said, not a problem. I said, I'll chuck all parts in back, I'll go get new disc pads. We just rebuilt everything on the side of the road in Welshpool. Police turned up, what you doing? We told the script, happy days, at least you're not driving it back, buggered, they said, and off we went, and that were it. We rebuilt it and drove it home, and I don't think there's a lot of men like that left these days.
No, I mean, they are to show it. But the other thing is, here we are, we're in your office. We've shoehorned ourselves into your office. The one thing about your good self and besides selling the cars, I mean, this place is an absolute haven of 1960s spare parts.
Yes, we carry a lot of spare parts. The cars that I do get in that I'll never see back on road, we absolutely strip them to death. We do have the space to store a lot of the parts. We've got quite a few rare parts, but it's not just the rare parts as well that are hard to find. It's stuff like radios, switchgear, clocks that people always threw away and never kept. Once you keep stuff like that, you'll find that you've got an influx of older men coming round. Have you got this? Have you got that? You say, I've got it on shelf up here, come and have a do at this. And they're all happy, and you get to learn more people, and then they start telling you where stuff is. And as you've seen yourself, we had one of our chaps come in this morning, Pete, and we do a lot of deals between each other, and I take rare stuff off him, he takes rare stuff off me, and it works between everybody, doesn't it?
The other thing is, it's a bit like I'm looking at something on the wall, and it's a card with little bags, little polythene bags. I mean, that would be the sort of thing that if you'd have gone into a garage or a petrol station back in the 50s or 60s and maybe the early 70s, you would have seen all over the wall in the little office you went in where you paid for your petrol. I mean, it's a journey back in time. I mean, how many of these things are there? The old cards that had all the components. I mean, where do you find them?
That actually come from a car accessory shop that I bought out at top of Padiham. The old chap, he'd closed his doors in about 1998. He expected his son to come and sort of take the business over. So he closed his doors, he went back off to Manchester where he lived, and he just left the shop fully stocked. But he hadn't bought anything from about 1993 was the last thing he bought. So all these parts went back to 60s, 50s and everything. It took me 2 years to buy it because I kept putting notes through the door. I drove past one Sunday afternoon, it were, and I seen the gentleman coming out at shop, so I slammed brakes on, jumped out, like, went over, introduced myself. Hello, I'm Mark, like, oh yeah. I said, I keep chucking notes through the door. He went, I don't know it's you. I said, go phone my phone. And he went, right, all right then. So he went in, phone number, my phone ringed, I showed him. I said, hey, that's your number. And he went, yeah. He shook my hand, he says, yeah, you're very persistent, you. I'll sell it to you one day. 2 years later, I got a phone call to tell me to come and get it. And I'd forgot about it. I was sat at home one night, 10 o'clock at night on a Friday night. My phone starts ringing. Do you want to meet me at shop in the morning? You can have it all. So I went round to the shop. We did a deal. There was 4 floors full of stuff, absolutely full in this shop, and some of the stuff I were bringing out were unbelievable. And a lot of the little stuff I've kept for display purposes, just like the packs like you've mentioned on the wall, and some signage, and virtually everything else has gone on now to help other cars stop on the road. But there was everything there. I mean, he didn't tell me he had a cellar when I bought the shop full. It showed me 2 rooms. And then he says to me, as we're emptying last box out onto this 7.5 ton wagon that we'd filled up full, I says to me, one of my lads, I think that's last box we're done now. I says, no, Vince, it's shop too. What do you mean you're done? I said, well, we're empty, Vince. He said, oh, you got cellaring upstairs, yeah? And he never showed him me. There were 12,000 litres of Duckham's ale in cellar, about 300 Bosch starters and alternators, signs, there were all sorts, printing cabinets that he bought from a printer's. Unbelievable. So we just got it all down in here, sorted through it, and we're still sorting through it to this day, 3 years after. There's boxes upstairs we haven't been in yet.
I mean, how often do shops like this, how often do you find them? I mean, because there'll be a dwindling number, if only because the shop will have been bought up and demolished to build something new.
Yeah, they've either been bought up or the shop's still in play today, but as they've stopped using the stuff, they just throw it away. I have quite a few blokes who have accessory shops and everything. They only touch modern stuff. They've come in here and said, I took loads of that out from my storeroom upstairs about a year ago. It's been in there 20 years, as they want more space and everything. But then actually, I was driving through Manchester only a couple of weeks ago, big old Nissan up like myself, couple of signs out front and everything, so I stopped, jumped out, started talking to this gentleman, and he's probably got 30 times more of what was in that shop, all old stock. He has 3 car accessory shops around the Manchester area, and he's just used that as storage, and he's never chucked anything away. So there we go, we've got another big Nissan up there to go start picking, and we'll just start bringing it out slowly, give him more room to get the modern stuff in. But with these things you've got to start at back, don't you, because that's where all good stuff is, isn't it?
That's where it got shoved. We won't use that for a while, shove it at back.
Well, that's it. It's the good stuff they wanted to keep goes right at back. And then, as you come further and further to it becomes more of the stuff then that I might keep that, I don't know, I'll just shove it there, I've got the space. But we always find the good stuff, so always at the very back, hidden at the worst possible place, and you need cranes to get it out and stuff, but we've been there and done it.
Now the other thing is, some of the cars you get in or you're buying, even by your own admission, these are beyond restoration. Interestingly, you then set to and turned them into automotive wall art. I mean, dotted around, there's fronts of Vauxhalls, there's backs of Volkswagens, there's Cadillacs, there's a back of a Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow, the boot that'll become a settee. How did all this come about as well?
Well, it pains me throwing anything away, really, and it pains me sending good parts, well, not good parts, but when you've got like front of a Morris Minor and the back half of the wings have absolutely gone and just rotted, you think, what can I do with that front section of it, really? It's got nice lights, it's got half decent chrome, it looks a bit ratty. I'll cut it up and throw it on a wall. And that's how we started, really. So I'll chop front end of a Morris Minor up, put it on a wall, and it sold instantly. And I thought, well, I've got a few more cars I could do that too, you know, that's snapped in half. And we have an ethos here. We would never, ever, ever cut anything up that could go again. So we give everything a really good chance. We try and sell everything first, even the worst projects. But as you seen that Morris Minor last week, it would never be done with it. So the parts go on, we strip every usable part off it, and then we'll chop the front off it. And we've come to a point now, we're buying rear quarter panels off Ford Anglias. No rear panel, we're making barbecues out of them. We're buying the little parts ourselves to put together. We're making the moulds for the Minis fronts, because we send the Mini all the way around the world. We've sent them now. We've got them in Japan, America, Switzerland, all over us as Mini fronts. We put lights on them, open them up, and people just love them, absolutely love them, they do. It's working.
So, I mean, it's like you said, they're a complete thing. Is it something you do yourself, or I notice your lads are always around the place working. Is it something you do yourself, or is it something that the lads are tasked with?
We do it all ourselves, really, in-house. I get my hands dirty every day, so does my partner. My wife's involved. She comes down and does a lot of stuff. She loves getting her hands dirty. She loves the fiberglass in. She don't mind it. She's meant to be company secretary, and she'd rather be at unit over at road with overalls on, doing something instead of making something. And as inspiration draws from that as well, because what I don't think of an idea, my partner Dave will throw something in the line. My wife will. Even my sons will. They'll say, well, why don't you do this with it? And you're like, yeah, I just didn't think of that. I overlooked that. And I think we're just having that small group around, and the small group of really close friends that I have coming in as well, they all back you and push you and try and help you and give them ideas, and it's just a really nice little hub for inspiration that makes you want to do more with them, and more and more.
Talking of art, I mean, the office that we're sat in is just shall we say, a small fraction. There's display cases with like Duckham's Kenol grease, little grease guns, little Lucas adverts and things like that. A lovely little oil can there.
Rolls-Royce now.
1920s Rolls-Royce. I mean, once again, I conclude these come from the accessory shops, and once cleaned up, I mean, or they become works. At one point in time, it was something a garage bought, used, and then threw away. They've now become works of art in their own right.
Yes, they have. There's a massive, massive market out there for automobilia now, and just stuff. I think the way I look at it is, it's stuff that reminds us chaps of his youth. For myself, I was an 80s kid. My Escort XR3i. She's a Mark IV car, 1988, but it just makes me feel 21 again. It makes me feel like when I had them, pre-kids days and everything, life were free. When I get in that thing, I feel like I'm 21 again. People surround themselves with stuff that makes them feel young. We all really don't want to go old, do we? If we do, we want to go gracefully and, you know, have the nice stuff around us. It just reminds you of better times in your life, don't you? Or not better times, but times when you were young and free. And I think that's what everybody wants, isn't it? So getting a classic car, sort of, it does that. It's the full circle in life, isn't it?
I think the other thing that's interesting, I mean, with my involvement with cars of all ages, certain of these things now that are highly desirable because A, the rarity, B, people threw them away. A lot of these things used to come free with the car. When you bought a car in the 60s, you opened the boot and it had all these bits and pieces in, and it's ironic. What was free and thrown away is now worth quite a lot of money.
The toolkits and stuff like that, and people will pay ridiculous amounts of money for an original toolkit with the spanners on, with Austin on and Morris on and stuff like that, just to complete their proper car, you know, their show quality car. And they also want the nice little period accessories as well that go with it, that you got from the car shops as well. Little map lights and picnic baskets and stuff like that. And I think a lot of them want to just set a scene. They want to rock up, and like, I sell dreams to people and I'll say, you're going to take it to shows. You're not going to use it as your shopping car, are you? You know, you're going to get out, go for a ride down Blackpool with wife now kids are older and stuff like that. And before long, they're coming back, well, have you got a picnic basket? I want one like this so I can just sit in boot and, yeah, we'll find you a picnic basket. And other period accessories like little map lights we have, and radios and 8-track players. They want them all in and fitted right then, and they become more down that road of, you know, yeah, it's got to be right. I want to feel like I'm actually sat in the 60s. I don't want a Morris Minor with a 1980s radio cassette in it. I want that fuzziness of that 60s radio, you know, and Radio 2 on, but going in background, like, you know. And that's what people just want, don't they? It's like I say, it's to remind us of his youth, isn't it? It is.
And the other thing is signs. I mean, I have a collection of tin signs at home. I'll be quite honest, I'll hold my hand up. They are reproductions because I can't afford the originals. But I mean, that's something else you sell quite a lot of. Tin signs, as you were saying, as people see on television. There's a serious demand for tin signs.
There's a huge demand for tin signs. And like yourself, I used to sell a lot of original ones. But then I realised I can't afford to do this anymore because the price, I was buying cars cheaper than a Michelin sign. And then I found as well the sort of market for the original ones, as the price were growing and growing and growing, is getting smaller and smaller. And then I noticed a lot of the original signs as well was just being passed around dealer to dealer to dealer. And every time there'd be an extra £5 or £10 on it. So we went into the reproduction side of stuff as well. And people love them because you can sell them out at like £30-40 a sign. You're getting a nice big sign for it that takes a nice garage size wall space up, and I think that's what just does it. We also do a lot of light up signs as well. People love shiny and light, and you know, again back to the American car shows, I think what helps a lot of ours at minute is every time they open a garage, the bloke's got an ice car book with loads of old signs hung around and just cool bits of automobilia, and it's making the old blokes and us think, yeah, I'm going to set my garage up like that. Why can't I have a little man cave in my garage? And yeah, they're becoming more and more and more, and blokes are actually building garages now to house a man cave. And I think it comes back to wife thinking, well, yeah, you're not at pub every night, so go on, you can have a few quid for that, and you're exactly where I can see you then, aren't you? Like, you know, I can watch how many beers you drink tonight, and I'll get you back to work in the morning, isn't it? It's, you know, that's exactly what mine's like, which is why she lets me do all this.
And interestingly, before we finish, where I'm sat, there's an old period poster of Durafit, the latest men's fashions, and that's definitely 30s, 40s. I mean, anything and everything you want for your period and classic motoring, you can supply now. I mean, you've got yourself in position, is you name it, you can even come in here and pick your appropriate suit. I mean, do you see business expanding?
Yes, we are actually growing and growing and growing all the time. Like I said, we started off with just the little printers building here, and we use this for storage. It is a workshop, and we started knocking the vehicle wall art out, and we was renting around the corner. We've expanded that much now. We have his own big Nissan Hut over at Road. It's 10 cars in there at the minute. We've got cars up on mates' farms and everywhere. We're just trying to grow it and grow it and grow it, and then we can start to look at employing a few people and getting them in sort of full time as well.
And if somebody wants to get in touch with you, how do they get in touch with? Basically, it's Mark Issac. I mean, in many ways, the business is secondary. I mean, it's you.
Yeah, it is me. That's what wife says. I'm brains and inspiration behind a lot of it. I have a crazy mind up here that just ticks over time constantly. But Facebook is probably where most people find us and get hold of us. We generally only do on Facebook as well, because we find we have such a big audience on there now. It just works for us. We started on there. We started off just as me and my partner, and we've grown to this on Facebook as Facebook's grown and got more popular. So as we, and now since we have people all the way around the world on there, and I generally just sell straight off my wall now on Facebook. I don't generally have to advertise stuff. I'll put a picture of a car up, and people are just, I'll have that, and they come in one day and they're back out trucking out next day. So my driver's loving it. He's getting double pay for everyone he does, like he's picking it up, delivering it day after. And it just works for us, and I think the most thing that we love is hunting them out. It's just getting that little fishing line. I've seen some here. Somebody will phone you up. I've just drove past here and saying, well, there might be old cars. So you jump in car, go and have a look. It's the anticipation of looking at what you're getting. And, you know, I'll just touch on I think one of the best stories I had was one of my good friends. He took his dogs into a new, he was going away on holiday. So he took them up to this dog home thing, yeah. And he phoned me up when he was there and said, you need to come and look at this field here. So I went up to the field, and as I looked, there was 3 TR2s, a TR3, a TR3, some being Alpine, skimmiters, altogether, there was over 110 vehicles on this farm, including British bikes. There was 25 Austin 7s alone, from boat tails to Ulster specials. There was an unbelievable amount of vehicles. Only 8 years ago, this. It took me 2 years, but I managed to buy everything in one go. And we did the service, we cleared the farm, and it's just, everything's still out there. You've just got to know where to hunt, know where to look. Take your tip-offs off your friends. Don't, somebody tells you a story about the Northern old car, don't rubbish it off. Do your research, go and have a look. What does it take? 20 minutes to run out? I think you'll find, if you don't find anything, you'll have had a pleasurable run out in car anyhow. And one of the best things I do, if I ever go local, I'll take my old moggy pickup, or I'll take one of my old cars, because it's an icebreaker. Before you go anywhere, if I turn up in a new car, half of the old chaps don't want to know you. They'll just look at you and go, yeah, whatever, and off you go, see you later. If you turn up in the moggy, they're walking out with a pot of tea and saying, here, have a cup of tea. Do you want to chat for 10 minutes? And they'll chat to you about your car. And that gets you into places as well, turning up. It shows you're sharing an equal passion. Most of them try and buy it. You say, you can't buy that, it's my lad's now, I promised it him. Happy days. Well, do you want one of these? I go on then, I'll buy that while I'm here. And it always works. We get stuff wherever we go.
But if people want to find Mark on Facebook, it's Mark Isaacs, M-A-R-C. It's the French spelling, it's different to mine. Isaacs, I-S-S-A-C-S. So it's Mark Isaacs. If all else fails, go on to Mark's Facebook page. It's just purely fascinating. Facebook is a modern invention, but Mark's Facebook page is a walk back in time.
Yeah, just keep looking down, get onto pictures and look down at pictures at some of the stuff we've dragged in. We're still loving doing barn finds. Up in Scotland last year, a woman gave me a call, can you come up? I've got a 1949 Morris Minor, one of the first ones. It was the Wall Art model. I said, yeah, no problem. I said, how much do you want for it first, love? She went, well, I've got another one here that's not as good. She gave me a price. I said, right, not a problem. I come up. As we get up there, we're in truck, pickup and trailer. We puts one on trailer, one on pickup. I turns around to her and I says, I'm happy with these. She says, what do you mean you're happy with them? She says, I took everything else, yeah. So what do you mean? She says, you bought everything in here. There was a little bomb buggy in there, there were all sorts in there, and there were more spare parts, so we come back down and went up day after and did another tail load, didn't we? And it's just finding them stuff, and it's a buzz. It keeps you getting up every morning, doesn't it? And keeps you excited for getting up. I'm there last thing at night. I'm the one who's on internet at 12 o'clock at night, searching. I'm back on it at 7 o'clock in the morning. I wake up, sort the kids out, do bits with wife, and then I'm there on internet, searching, making calls, seeing what's about, seeing what people's got in. And it's just that hunt that keeps me going every day. I love it.
I think the thing is, if anybody comes and calls in just to say hello to Mark and just have a look, you might have arrived just to say hello, just have a look, but I promise you, you'll probably go away with something. It might be a car, the car you always wanted but you didn't know you always wanted. It could be a sign, it could be absolutely anything. Mark Isaacs, thanks very much for joining me on the Backseat Driver Radio Show here on Drystone Radio. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much, and just a touch, you'll also go on with a belly full of tea.
Thanks so much indeed, Mark.
Rarely beaten on price, never beaten on service. Whether it's cars, bikes or commercials, Hoddy Tyres are the best in the business. And when it comes to tyre expertise and advice to supplying the correct tyres for your vehicle's specific requirements, nobody comes close to David Lakin and the Hoddy Tyres team. So give them a call on 01200 613 192 or visit the website at hoddytyres.co.uk.